Why is the sky red? What did I do? What did I do? I think... Whoo! What the hell?
What was that?
What are these? Obelisks? That's a triangle. They've made a triangle in it.
Whoa.
Oh, shit! Oh! Well...
Are you supposed to be out of the booth?
I'm getting back in the booth. Nature is cruel. Nature's taken a lot away. For instance, you know, dodos.
I was kind of thinking just offhand, the dodo bird.
Yeah. The, what is it? The Tasmanian tiger. Yeah, you heard about that?
I know they were endangered.
Yeah, well.
Couldn't remember if they were extinct now or not.
Yeah. Extinct, yeah, unfortunately. They almost died out on the mainland 2,000 years ago, but then, you know, eventually they did. Now, searches and unconfirmed sightings, but very, very small amounts. But yeah. And honestly, I really wish that...
You know, that looks weirdly similar to the weird-ass thing I saw run across the road that one night.
Oh, yeah?
That I'm pretty sure ended up... Like, after I talked to people on Discord about it, I'm like, what could this have been? Like, the only thing we could come up with is it was possibly a mountain lion.
Potentially.
Which are endangered around here, so it's really rare if so.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything around here with that long of a tail, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Especially that big with that long of a tail. Like, house cats are the only thing with long tails besides possums I can think of. And that wasn't a fucking possum. If that was a possum, that was a fucking mother of all possums. That was the possum king.
So...
Oh my god, it's a possum.
I am not a fucking possum. So, the funny thing is, the American buffalo, aka the bison, was almost extinct. As a matter of fact, it was driven so much... Like, the skull alone...
I'm guessing that was probably partially due to human utilization of the buffalo.
Let me show you what they did. Yeah, the Buffalo Skull Mound is easily one of the most infamous photos of the American West.
What the hell?
That is all buffalo heads. Like American bison American bison heads.
So they were just killing way too many of them.
Yes. I want everyone to look at this. Like this, that is a man standing atop of it, and this is a collection of all of the bison head, like the bison helms that basically, yeah, the U.S. government in 1873 killed 1.5 million buffalo in 1 year to starve out the natives to try and get them to leave their land. So, yeah, it is. Nature has been unkind to a lot of things out there. Pandas are one of them. And we have one video here by Casual Geographic. Should we let nature finally delete pandas?
Don't know why we would, but
I guess we'll see. Here we go.
Hey, Ron. Hey, Billy.
that hurt.
I love that meme so much.
Are you coming up to chill? What's the plan, bruh? Everything is awesome when you're a panda.
There's
Jesus God.
some animals whose entire existence proves that nature isn't about survival of the fittest. It's survival of
Cape
just
Buffalo,
barely
baby.
being good enough.
Cape Buffalo is the baddest motherfucker on four hooves. Like how crazy athletic they are is unbelievable for being as big as they are.
Class, it wouldn't be about passing with straight A's. It'd be about passing off your DNA before you become an F in the chat. And some animals are universally recognized as the remedial students of nature. Cheetahs are the red-headed stepchild of the cat world. Sloths are basically free calories served on a moss blade. And roasting koalas is considered low-hanging fruit only because they happen to share the same IQ. And also because they put the mid in chlamydia. And it seems that everyone can agree that pandas are egregiously bad at pandaing, and that we as a society need to stop being this biracial Winnie the Pooh's crutch and just let nature finish what it's clearly started. But are pandas really that bad? Did we successfully gaslight the barcode bears of the world? Or do pandas really profit off the most OP pretty privileged genjutsu nature's ever seen? To find out, first we gotta lay out all the factors that make the Try to Panda challenge virtually impossible.
He had the exact same reaction that a person would have to falling backwards out of their chair. Just, oh shit! Ow.
Somehow made it worse, even worse by panicking.
Yeah.
Possible. But before that, this video was sponsored by absolutely no one. Let's get it. You probably already know that the panda's biggest problem revolves around it being a bamboo sink. 99% of the things that meets this oversized equality hamster's gullet is bamboo. Despite clearly being designed with carnivore software, it's the koala problem of building your entire meal plan around something that gives you very little back. Which is why pandas can spend up to 16 hours a day eating something they can only digest 17% of. The very definition of injustice is that when you Google sloth bear, this monochromatic try-hard vegan doesn't show up, since their diet of scarfing bamboo often leaves them with very little energy for anything else. So to accommodate this self-imposed energy budget, pandas developed relatively smaller sized organs, including, you guessed it, their brains. And something else, but we'll get to that. But yeah, being a bimbo for bamboo might have literally nerfed their intelligence in the process. And some of you may have asked yourselves why the breathing bamboo purses don't just hibernate, since hibernation is basically power save mode for animals, and if anyone needs to save energy, it's pandas. Well, one, bears technically aren't even true hibernators. But two, even if they were, eating like the vegan teacher's lapdog means pandas are physically incapable of putting on the fat reserves required to hibernate for months at a time without also getting perma-slept to starvation. But honestly, the problems with their diet have low-key been overblown. If being a bamboo junkie was their only issue, they wouldn't be as chronically down bad. At their core, animals have two main goals: food, and another F word my mom doesn't like me to say. We see how they handle their meal prep, but it's their love life that really screws pandas over. Pandas are absurdly bad at making more pandas. Off-rip, their window to reproduce isn't even really a window, it's more like a hairline crack in the windshield. Female pandas ovulate 1 to 3 days out of the entire year. That's only 24 to 72 hours are open for business out of a possible 8,760. And since being bent on bamboo means they eat, sleep, and socialize like a stereotypical Reddit user, finding a possible partner is often equally as difficult for them. Even if he does manage to track a female down, he still has a high risk of fumbling the opportunity because males are apparently illiterate at reading signs. Male pandas often struggle to interpret the signs that a female actually wants to mate. Word. And when you only have
It's like literally rubbing it up on you, and you're just like,
Bamboo.
hours on the clock, mistakes like that ensure that the only thing getting screwed is the future of your progeny. And even if the female's 100% with it, it's still not a for sure thing. Partly because male pandas struggle through the process of procreation
like
in a way that is almost
the girl panda just putting her head down like,
am I just not attractive?
impressive, but also partly due to the panda's reportedly disproportionately tiny penis. Which is why panda coitus is a lot like trying to get a 1/4-inch USB into a port blind, while also wearing a 200-pound fat suit. Oh, and try without using thumbs. Nature did this obese oppression raccoon 0 favors. Their mating habits are a big reason why the double-stuffed Ursus Oreos are where they're at. Pandas in breeding programs in captivity often show so little interest in their literal only job that researchers have resorted to showing them videos of pandas mating. Apart from pulling videos from Panda Hub, researchers have also resorted to giving them
Panda Hub, come on, dude.
actual Viagra. Although you'd need a magnifying glass to see if
Sildenafil,
it's working, because again, the P in panda does not stand for packing. And even though most pandas rely on the grace of God as a wingman, somehow the jihad of life doesn't end once they add new names to the roster. Pandas are some of the worst parents on the planet. You've probably heard that if a panda has twins, one of them is a guaranteed loss, since the mother panda will abandon half her litter and leave that one twin to die. Which is even worse when you consider that grizzly bears will allegedly disown their cubs, but they only do it when there's one, since they'd rather start over with 2 to 4 cubs than put all their hopes and stock in one. The chosen panda cub doesn't get off scot-free either, since the yin-yang colored chonk bears of China have the highest mother-to-baby size ratio of any mammal. To put it in perspective, humans are typically 20 times bigger than their babies. Mother African elephants are typically 45 times heavier. A mama panda is approximately 900 times the size of her newborn baby. And since they don't have pouches like marsupials, that puts the panda at a legitimate risk of being turned into a chalk outline by
I remember hearing about that. That sucks.
own oblivious mother. Just another way nature set this glorified cow gerbil up for failure. And it's not even like domestication is an option. A good reason is cause, despite what the black and white bane of bamboo might tell you, it's still a bear, and a bear is a bear is a bear. And
He's
the
a bear.
of the bear brotherhood is still liable to absolutely fold any human. Especially since the one plus of constantly crushing bamboo is a bite force comparable to big cats like lions.
Yeah.
In case you thought this plus-size Oreo was sweet, one man nearly lost his whole leg after a giant panda wandered onto his land and crushed his leg like celery. Then there's the fact that a high-volume, low-efficient diet means the one-man bamboo processing plant known as the panda can poop a healthy 40 times a day. And of course, living in the chilly, mountainous forests of Asia, pandas figured out that they can stay warm by rolling around and covering themselves in fresh manure. So if you want to
Shit.
add a biting, eating, pooping, sewer-smelling dependent to your family, like I always say, you're better off having children. Because there are no tax credits for providing for pandas. In fact, the opposite. Pandas quite literally cost millions of dollars just to keep alive. But mostly that's because giant pandas are leased by the Chinese government at approximately a fat million a year. And if one of those pandas gets knocked up, that'll set you back a cub tax of about $400,000. Which is why, currently, only 3 zoos in the US have a biracial bamboo-munching beanbag of a bear on display.
I've seen one. I forget exactly where it was at, but I remember seeing one. And that thing, it just sat there, munching on bamboo, and just looked up at us, just like...
As they do.
And just went back to minding its own business.
It's better than it falling out of a tree, I guess.
I guess, yeah. Although that would have been hilarious, and I would have probably, like, died laughing, because... Oh...
Unless it died.
One of those zoos used to be Sandy.
And that probably wouldn't have been very funny.
No, it wouldn't have, but still. Like, these things look pretty tough. I mean, they got a lot of fat to them, so I guarantee if they fall, they'll probably be semi-alright.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
Diego. I say used to, because one of the consequences of renting pandas is that gives China the ammunition to be petty. I'm not a political channel, I'll never be a political channel. I'm not implying any type of affiliation or bias, I'm just listing 2 things that happened. In 2019, Trump may or may not have fueled a trade war against China. And come May 2019, a mother panda and her son were recalled and sent back to China. Now you could argue the trade war had nothing to do with it, and this was just the natural end of a panda loan. But 10 years earlier in 2009, Taishan the panda was deported not long after Obama met with the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama is, as far as China's concerned, an op. So my working theory is China uses pandas for diplomacy, but also as a vehicle of petty punishment.
Yes, they do. Because China, like, the Chinese are petty. I mean, especially now that Xi Jinping, or I'm sorry, Winnie the Pooh is now in complete control. And plus, and you know what? It's not like anyone in China is ever going to see our stuff anyway, because YouTube is not allowed in China. Or at least, most of it's not allowed in China. I think that the Chinese curate whatever goes on, like, their YouTube. Hold on. Let me Google that real quick. Is YouTube in China? YouTube is blocked in China. Ah. Okay, so, yeah.
So unless they're daring with a VPN, yeah. If that's the case, Godspeed to you. I hope you never get caught.
Same. Hey, if you're watching this right now, hello. Oh, and if you're in Hong Kong, we love y'all.
The pandas' fault, but at this point we might as well hold it against them.
Hong Kong and
We didn't even mention
Taiwan
the fact that
and
pandas
Macau.
aren't
Y'all
even
are
really
awesome.
pandas. When zoologist Frédéric Cuvier first used the word panda in 1825,
I guess we
he
can
was
never be
describing
VTubers now that you said Taiwan out there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chinese Taipei. Wink. I was going to say, usually I depend on like the opinion of the autonomous people who live upon the land in which they claim, and it once again ties back into it. It's like, are they Chinese or are they Taiwanese? They will answer, we are Taiwanese, and China can say. I was gonna say, if China, is so friendly with them, then how come there's a giant U.S. giant U.S. aircraft carrier in between the two? Because that's the other thing too. Is like everyone wants to pretend like, oh, China, China can take it in Taiwan. It's like, have you seen like the preparation that Taiwan has had like 50+ years of help, plus not only anyone's help but our help, developing like ways to keep themselves from being invaded. It's actually kind of scary.
Yep.
That's one island I would not want to try and take.
The red-headed raccoon we call the red panda. The furry orca known as the giant panda wasn't named until much later, and it only got its name because at the time they thought it had a lot in common with the red panda. Turns out they're not even close to being related.
No.
Meaning this overgrown zebra yogi isn't even the original panda. And the fact that its monochrome mugshot shows up first when you type
Oh, I like red pandas a lot.
They're so cute.
Yeah, red pandas are cute as can be.
panda and not live-action Shifu is one of the biggest injustices of nature. This is the OG panda, but the newspaper-flavored clout-guzzling Frost took up just enough space to convince the world otherwise. So obviously pandas have their problems, and you can argue that their best trait is being a luck merchant.
They're just like, boom.
There is no other animal that gets carried harder by pretty privilege than the endgame of a sloth bear raccoon orgy. And they're the only creature on Earth with black and white privilege. Because the reason giant pandas are the mascot of the World Wildlife Fund is literally because having a mascot with the same color patterns as 1940s TV saves you a lot of money on ink. Yo, that sounds like a joke, but I'm not even kidding. If pandas were black and yellow or black and brown, they might not have gotten the job. But that aside, consensus is that pandas are so bad at pandaing that we should just let the flex of China fade into oblivion the way nature intended. But is that really true, or have we just been doing giant pandas incredibly dirty this entire time? First thing to mention is that they're a specialist species, with that specialty being in binging bamboo. Being a specialist rather than a generalist means you can typically tap into a niche nobody else can. But that means they can adapt to changes in their environment, and that also means that there are only a couple things going wrong away from getting evicted from reality. Having a very particular set of skills might be great if you're Liam Neeson, but it can severely handicap you as a species. And the funny thing is, for all the crap pandas get, the biggest and arguably most intimidating land predator on the planet is a specialist. Polar bears depend almost entirely on sea ice to hunt, and if that goes away, then it's bye-bye ice bear. But for some reason, we don't on the polar bear nearly as much for being dependent on ice as we lampoon pandas for their life choices. Especially since it's habitat destruction and fragmentation that really had giant pandas down bad. You see, it's believed the panda bear once had more variety in his diet and was more omnivorous, but likely because there was just so much bamboo everywhere and virtually zero competition for it, eventually they shifted into primarily eating bamboo. It also turns out that the bamboo they eat is high in protein but low in carbs. So despite seeming like that one person that would bring a veggie burger to a cookout, weirdly enough, the giant panda's protein intake is actually close to that of wolves. They're also particular about the part of bamboo they like to eat and when. According to studies on radio-collared pandas, in the summer and spring they prefer to eat the protein-packed shoots found at higher altitudes. But during autumn and winter they migrate down into the valley and shift more towards eating bamboo leaves, which are high in vitamin C along with roots. And they just move from high to low to high again year in and year out. Something that's clearly worked for them since they've been just fine like this for thousands of years. So much so that the umami taste receptor, i.e. the one that lets you experience the savory taste of meat, yeah, theirs got turned off. And they even evolved a false thumb for no other reason than to help them hold bamboo. So clearly pandas had a process that worked. The problem is when you fragment the habitat they spent thousands of years in and separate them from the food, the result is less pandas. We love to say pandas are bad at life, but by receding their habitat like a middle-aged hairline, we haven't made living any easier. Also, the whole point I made about pandas being bad at making whoopee, turns out that might just be propaganda, because in a twist, the giant panda's reproductive rate really isn't that much worse than that of American black bears. And black bears, they're doing just fine. In fact, everything I said about pandas having negative riz really only applies to those in captivity. In the wild, female pandas do have a small window for baby making, but that's often after the selection process.
Speaking of black bears and running up on one, we have been told to be alert here where we're at because there have been bear sightings nearby.
Well.
So, be careful when you go outside.
Yeah. Well, I plan on it.
I'm kind of thinking we should probably try to get a hold of the can of bear mace, because if we're taking Asher out back and a bear happens to stroll through that field back there, like, it'd be good to have some kind of possibility of protecting Asher and ourselves, you know?
Yeah. And also, well, I always keep my guns loaded just in case, but I'm probably going to...
I just don't know if I trust a gun against a bear. You have to hit them in the right spot.
Well, honestly, my 30-30, it can do plenty of damage.
I mean, the gunshot could probably scare a black bear off.
That's more than likely what I'm going to resort to at first. And if that doesn't scare them off, then...
As long as he's not rabid or anything.
Well, if he's rabid, then, you know...
Kiss your ass goodbye, pretty much.
Well, if he's rabid, then I'm going to do everything I can to, like take its legs out, to, like, keep it from, like, coming at me.
I don't know if you can.
Hip.
They're so thick.
Aim for the hip.
They're so thick.
Well, it's a 30-30. Well, that's why I'm using my 30-30, which is, you know, got hollow points in it. And those will, like the spread pattern on those will basically just, like, handle business. And honestly, I want to be able to, I want to be able to defend, like, this house just in case something like that does happen. But, I'm not going to go out of my way to, like, try and freaking kill a bear.
Yeah.
But if it does step on my property and it threatens Asher or you or anyone else, if it tries to rip the friggin' AC unit out of your friggin' wall,
that would be scary.
Yeah.
Really, what the fuck?
Then I'm jumping in that
be
room,
grabbing my cat and running out of the room and closing the cat door behind me.
Yeah, and then I'm running I'm running outside, and I'm basically just, like, shooting at it with my my buckshot 12 gauge. I mean, I don't want to fuck around with them things, dude.
That involves at least 2 males running fades for her honor, in a process that can last up to and over a week. And we now believe that this process might just be what stimulates ovulation. You can't really replicate that in a zoo, and between that and a constant flow of people, that's probably the biggest reason why pandas in captivity become celibate. Like, be real, if you were forced into an arranged marriage and had to have an audience watch you consummate it, you'd be a little awkward too. There is no bigger indictment than the fact that a zoo in Hong Kong had been trying to hook up 2 pandas for the better part of 10 years. And it wasn't until a certain beer virus of 2020 shut down the zoo to the public that the 2 bears finally got it on. Roommates for 10 years, and all it took was a couple months of privacy for them to fornicate.
Yeah, I mean...
But even with all the slander, pandas are actually in pretty good shape. And that is a problem. With about 2,000 pandas alive today, pandas were recently demoted off the endangered species list. Yet giant pandas still finesse a bulk of conservation efforts simply because they're cute. Think about it for a second. Pandas have big eyes, big foreheads, and a chunk physique. If they didn't remind us of babies, we wouldn't be this invested in their future. There's like 400 blobfish left in the entire world, and you probably didn't know that because, real talk, nobody's buying their child a plushie that looks like a deflated sunfish feed.
I am.
Didn't know that.
I would buy a blobfish plush.
I found an interesting fact about them recently, which is the idea that they don't actually look like that when
It's
they're
because
down
they're
in the water.
pressure, yeah.
Yeah, like they're they're lower in the ocean fish, therefore they have swim bladders that apply outward pressure to keep them from being crushed. And so when they wash up on shore, they poof and turn into that.
Yeah.
And they look a lot less foogly.
I'd like to see
they're
one
actually
like
swimming
down
in
in
their
its
home.
natural habitat. Also,
I can't remember if that was Casual Geographic that told us that or not, but I remember hearing that recently.
also did you hear about the it was an implosion that took out the sub?
Mm-hmm.
So basically
They gone.
that's just part of it. Explosive decompression.
I wonder what's going to happen to that company now that the CEO's gone.
They're gonna fold. They're probably gonna be sued by the family members, and then they're gonna have to pay out whatever they have left to, like, the lawsuit and everything. Then they're gonna file for bankruptcy and they're gonna fold. That's what happens normally. Anyway.
Not to mention the animals that could legitimately destroy entire ecosystems if they go ghost, like bees or certain types of plants. They become an afterthought because, yeah, pretty gets priority. It's like that one gym teacher that ignores actually struggling students to help the attractive girls in class that don't need or ask for it. That's right.
Itchy bum.
Pandas are hot girls. Side note, why does it always seem like the gym teacher's on felonious timing? Pandas aren't perfect, they're miles away from it, but at the end of the day, we've done far more to them than for them. But that's gonna do it for this video. Be sure to check out my book for 100 animals that can absolutely fold you like a lawn chair, link in description. Drink water, you need that stuff. Hug your mother, tell Pops you appreciate him. Matter of fact, might have to make a Father's Day video in the name of equality. But until then, I'ma see y'all in the next one. Now for y'all that watch till the end, here's some panda ASMR.
Crunchy.
Nom, nom, nom. How's that bamboo?
They definitely don't have good table manners, do they?
No, they don't.
And chew with their mouths wide open.
God. All right. Well, there you go. Should we let nature delete pandas? I don't think so. I think they're doing all right. I just think that, habitat-wise, the Chinese have done a bang-up job destroying their original natural habitats.
Yeah.
And also, it's just, Imagine pandas do go extinct, and they're still making Kung Fu Panda movies. Like, imagine the irony of that. It's just, ugh.
I guess Kung Fu Panda would be even more legendary at that point.
Exactly. Skadoosh. Oh, wait. Where'd my family go? Oh. They're all gone. Yeah. So yeah. The Casual Geographic. Y'all wanted us to watch more Casual Geographic? Well, there you go. Hope y'all enjoyed this. Also, today was my birthday, so if you're watching, thank you. If you're watching this right now, just know that it's not my birthday when you're watching this, but it was when we were recording this. So yeah, thank you again for tuning in, everyone. Until next time, I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
Y'all be good people. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.